prompting as professional discipline. Prompting is not a technical trick. It is a declaration of intent. Every prompt contains an implicit instruction about what kind of thinking is being requested. If that instruction is vague, the output will default to coherence rather than calibration. Professional prompting begins before the first word is typed. It begins with clarity. What stage of thinking am I in? Am I exploring? Am I structuring a decision? Am I finalizing language after judgment has occurred? Confusing these stages is where silent failure begins. If you use execution-style prompting before judgment is complete, language can subtly shape classification. If you use decision-style prompting without explicit boundaries, output may drift toward recommendation rather than comparison. If you use judgment-style prompting too late, disruption increases and trust can be strained. Lifecycle alignment is the first discipline. Exploration prompts expand possibility. They ask for alternatives, counter-arguments, comparative frameworks. They should not commit. Decision prompts structure consequences. They clarify trade-offs. They outline implications. They should not decide. Execution prompts refine language after judgment has already occurred. They improve clarity without changing substance. Judgment prompts stress test assumptions. They surface fragility. They challenge confidence. They introduce discomfort intentionally. The professional must declare internally which mode is active. Without declaration, AI defaults to answering. Answering is not always appropriate. Another discipline of prompting is boundary clarity. Boundaries define what is not being decided. For example, we are not reassessing severity, only drafting language. We are comparing escalation timing, not recommending one. We are stress testing this classification, not generating alternatives. Without explicit boundaries, output may overstep. Overstepping is subtle. Language may strengthen a conclusion unintentionally. Tone may shift from provisional to confident. Trade-offs may be resolved prematurely. Inspection rules must also be defined. Inspection rules determine how uncertainty is surfaced. Should weak evidence be highlighted? Should confidence levels be stated explicitly? Should minority risk signals be emphasized? If inspection rules are not specified, output optimizes for fluency. Fluency can conceal fragility. Professional prompting requires specifying how doubt should appear. For example, identify the two strongest counterarguments. Surface the weakest assumption in this reasoning. Explain where this classification might be challenged. These prompts reintroduce disciplined skepticism. Another element of discipline is ownership. After any AI-assisted drafting, the professional must ask, did certainty increase because evidence strengthened, or because language improved? If confidence feels stronger solely due to structure, recalibration is required. Ownership means being able to state, I accept this conclusion based on these criteria and this evidence. If that sentence cannot be completed independently of the tool, the work is not finished. Prompting discipline also includes stopping discipline. AI can generate endless variations. More structure, more scenarios, more articulation. Iteration feels productive. But iteration without new insight is noise. Professional discipline includes recognizing the convergence point, where additional output does not change understanding. Stopping is a judgment act. Another dimension of prompting discipline is tone calibration. AI often defaults to balanced language. Balanced language can understate material exposure. If the underlying evidence is strong and consequence significant, tone must reflect that proportionally. Tone discipline requires reviewing output not only for clarity, but for alignment with risk weighting. If tone and consequence diverge, revision is required. Verification remains non-negotiable. AI output is not evidence, it is a structured interpretation. Before finalization, evidence must be traced. Does the narrative align with documented support? Does the severity reflect criteria application? Does the escalation timing reflect defined thresholds? If not, correction precedes conclusion. Prompting discipline is therefore less about clever phrasing and more about structured sequencing. Intent first. Boundaries second. Inspection third. Verification fourth. Ownership always. Without this sequence, acceleration amplifies risk. With this sequence, acceleration amplifies leverage. Professional discipline transforms AI from a productivity enhancer into a calibrated instrument. It preserves independence. It strengthens credibility. It aligns speed with sufficiency. Execution accelerates. Prompting governs acceleration. Judgment remains the anchor. Section 11. Life cycle alignment. Preventing silent drift. If prompting is disciplined, but life cycle alignment is not, what happens? Even well-structured prompts can introduce risk if they are applied at the wrong stage of the audit lifecycle. The audit lifecycle is not merely administrative sequencing, it is cognitive sequencing. Each stage requires a different posture of thinking. Planning requires hypothesis formation. Fieldwork requires evidence evaluation. Reporting requires calibrated articulation. Escalation requires consequence weighting. If AI is applied uniformly across these stages without differentiation, silent drift occurs. Silent drift is not obvious error. It is incremental misalignment. In planning, the risk is premature narrowing. If AI is used to generate risk lists based